We did a lot of research on different mini skid steers before we ended up deciding to go with the Toro Dingo TX 1300. The TX 1300 is a newer model for Toro, but it also has a lot of features of some of the larger models, including this INTELESCOPE, which this arm will actually reach out. It'll allow us to get out further into a dump trailer, it allows us to pick things up or actually drop landscaping into things further. There's a lot of great uses for this. It is absolutely amazing. We have a 37 horsepower Yanmar diesel engine in here. It does have a diesel particulate filter. It does not need diesel exhaust fluid. So it'll do all its regeneration on its own, active and passive, has many modes, but it also doesn't use up a lot of fuel. There's a lot of horsepower in this model at 37 horse compared to some of the other Toro models that are out there. So when you're using this and you're using a lot of the Toro attachments, you'll find you have plenty of horsepower to do anything that they would require without even bogging this machine down. And in some cases, we're not even running it full throttle, which also helps on fuel. I'm gonna do a quick walk around on this and also show you how the controls work. There's some things on the controls that aren't fully explained. I wanna go through that complete. The tracks are nice inside here. This is a little bit different design than some of the other models, but it seems to be self-contained. There is no grease to be done down here. That was something that I found interesting, but it's very easy to clean out and they're designed to be worked in the mud. While the track wheels are enclosed and don't have any grease zerks, you do have an adjustment for the tracks underneath that cover. Basically, the rest of the machine is full of grease zerks. You have them everywhere for the loader arms, the extensions, any of the twisting, which I think is excellent. Very easy to get at all those grease zerks. The hydraulics on this machine are fairly advanced compared to others. You have 14 gallons per minute that's going to come out of here at 3,100 PSI. You have a outlet and return here or outlet and return here depending on the direction of the flow, and then you have a case return that's going to sit in the center. Some implements will require that, some won't. Very easy to use. You can just push in, pull out, no mess, no fuss, just to put it together. Simple. Push in and you're ready to go. These fittings will actually remove the pressure for you. So if your unit sits outside and builds up pressure, when you push them together, everything will kind of relieve itself, and it's no mess, no fuss. Absolutely love this. For the most part, this is going to be under the hood of the Dingo. You have your air filter here. You can lift the arms up and then these side panels slide right out, and then you can remove 2 bolts and access the hydraulic filters in the battery up front. But basically you can get at everything you need here, from checking the oil to adding oil, changing anything. It's all very accessible. And I really liked that part of it, and it operates very easily. Many of the new mini skid steers on the market will actually have 2 diesel tanks that'll flow between both of them. Not in the case of the TX 1300. This is a hydraulic fluid tank, and the cool part about this is there is a drain on the bottom. So when you want to change hydraulic fluid, you can pull that drain and get everything out of here. Very sweet. This is your diesel tank. You have a protective cover over the top, and then it's a simple fill right there, and there is a fuel gauge that is sitting right next to it. The same protective cover is sitting over top of your hydraulic fluid, and you can pull that off, and there is a dipstick in here. So you have easy access to your hydraulic fluid and everything that's going on. What I also like about this is that both these protective covers can take locks. So if you wanted to lock this out so no one had access to it, no issue. You just put a lock inside here and you're good to go. The operator station and controls was one of the main reasons I wanted to pick this unit. This is actually fully padded. So when you lean up against it, move around, everything is padded. Your knees fit nicely underneath here, which helps you sometimes hang on to different situations that you're driving through. But this is very, very comfortable. The stand is spring loaded, so everything works great. Your continuous flow for hydraulics is a simple foot pedal on the bottom. It all works wonderful, and it will really help you stay comfortable for a long day. Lots of other ones have plastic on the sides and they don't protect you from hitting your knees against different areas. This is designed well. In my opinion, the controls on the Dingo are superior to many others. Some people will knock the twin sticks here, but it's technically one stick. Your palm rides on the top of that, and then you push forward and backwards. Very smooth. What I like about it, compared to many others that I drove, it returns back to normal or to the stop without any effort. It is very easy to use, very smooth, and I didn't find that in all the other units. The joystick control, very simple, yet there are some things that they left out a little bit. You can move this forward, backwards, side to side, just like any other joystick. That's going to control basically up and down on the loader and forward and back on your bucket or whatever is on there. This is going to be forward and reverse on the hydraulics. It's temporary or momentary. It sides back. If you pull back, then you would push your foot down on the pedal for continuous. That would set everything in probably a reverse motion, depending what you had hooked up. If you wanted it in a different way, you would push it forward. So that can be momentary or continuous. This button to the right is the in and out for your loader arms. It too is momentary. Then there is this forward button. This right now is not used, but it is an electric over hydraulic button. It's basically a power button that you would use, in this case, for different attachments. In the schematics, you can find where these wires are, but at this point it's going to be an unused Toro item, and maybe in the future they will have an option for you to connect this up to a plug. But basically this is a switch that is a 3-position switch. It would be extend, retract, in neutral. So you have a few power wires in there if you needed a secondary hydraulic portion. So when you are using this, it's very simple. You have 2 switches over here that do nothing. They can be hooked up to whatever you'd like. You have 2 USB outlets there, which are very nice. This is your throttle control, which is digital. The engine is digital, so it doesn't bother me to have a throttle control that's digital, and then a horn. We're gonna start this guy up. It might get a little noisy, but we can see here it's telling us our volts in our hour meter, and then it's gonna tell us our temperature and our basically throttle position. So we're running. If we want to hit the horn, but our parking brake automatically comes on. Push that, parking brake's off. Push it again, parking brake is on. We're gonna lift the front up a little bit, take that off. If we want to increase throttle, we can push and hold, it'll come all the way down. There's a lot you can do in this between service, between diagnostics. That little screen does a ton. If we back up a little bit, throttle up slightly. Now this is going to be slower, obviously, because of low throttle, but if we want to extend the arms, and again, slower because of low throttle, and just being able to talk, they go out, goes up, down, angle, very smooth. If you compare this to a compact tractor or anything like that, it is just 10 times better than that. Very easy to control. If we look at the controls on the other side, if we want to move forward, turn the other way. If we want to come back, turn. Very easy to use and smooth. There's nothing jerky here. We can do whatever we'd like. And I think that is pretty huge as far as finding one. I can see where some people might want to go with a single stick that does the same thing. I can see it, but in my case with the palm and everything else here, I don't really even know there's 2 sticks there. It just seems to work quite well. There's also a cup holder. We use it for a garage door opener. Sometimes we use it for water. It's nice to have there. It's also dual size, so if you have a can, it'll fit in there. If you have like a large Yeti, it will also fit in there. I think that is huge. For working on it, if you're ever wondering what this is a lockout, so no one could lower the arms on you. And there's also these things that will go over top of the hydraulic cylinders, but that is simply what that's for. Very simple to use, very easy. You could pop someone on this and have them driving it like a pro in about 5 minutes. The huge advantage to a mini skid steer is going to be your line of sight. You have a 360-degree view of everything you're doing when you're standing at the operator station. You're slightly elevated and you can see everything that's going on around you, which makes it easy to get close to a building when you're using this with like a Harley rake, or it allows you to see exactly what you're grabbing onto, what your bucket's doing. it's just a step above when it comes to line of sight compared to going into a normal skid steer. Now it does have its limitations. Obviously it can't lift as much. This one's going to be 1,300 pounds at approximately 35% of its full lifting capacity or tip capacity. So there's a lot of things that might limit you as far as how your job goes. But as far as the Toro Dingos go, they do make a 2,000 pound unit, which does have the full skid steer front. This front attachment is going to be a Toro Dingo Vermeer and a ditch witch attachment. They all share the same attachments. Unlike some of the other ones, I know Bobcat makes one that is Bobcat specific. So if you're going to buy a unit and want to rent different parts or pieces, attachments for the front, the Toro, Ditch Witch, and Vermeer are the three that all kind of share everything and are more of the standard per se that's out there. There's a lot of things that we can go over with this. There's a lot of cool things that we are doing, have done, and are working on with us. We are going to continue to bring that to you on this channel. So I would ask you to please subscribe, leave a comment below, let us know what you want to see, because we have a ton of different things coming with this, from augering trees into the ground to picking up a lot of the woods with the grapple to cleaning out large fields and hauling away some of the timber mess that's left and then replanting those fields, along with Harley raking, using almost every attachment that we could afford to put on this guy. We'll bring it to you. So subscribe to the channel, give us a like in this video. Don't forget those comments. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.